Setsuna. I clench my fist tightly in my pocket. Setsuna, I've given her the present. I've received her Valentine's chocolate. I know deep down that I'm not supposed to say what I'm about to say on a day like this. But that would just mean prolonging my sins. Truth be told, I should have said this on that snowy day in particular. No, it's something that I should have done in the first place. I have something I need to tell you.
Kazusa!
Long time. It's about Toma. About Toma's future. And about Toma and myself. All of it. I should have told her all of that on my own accord, but...
Happy birthday, Setsuna. I apologize for not telling you anything until now. I'm sorry, Setsuna Kidahara.
After school, February 14th. The first meeting of the Light Music Club after entering the new year. Today's agenda concerns our keyboardist, saxophonist, bassist, acting club president, Toma Kazusa's future after graduation.
Anyway, it's all decided already. After graduation, I'll be moving to Vienna. Why?
Because of the all-too-sudden declaration of our parting, Setsuna is at a loss for words. As expected. And because I already knew all too much about this shocking revelation, I couldn't even raise my head.
To further hone my piano skills at the very place the art was born, in addition to living with my mother, is that good enough reasons?
But since you'll be breaking the promise, you'll have to explain it to Setsuna. I won't allow you to leave without saying anything. Toma really did keep her promise with me, just like this. She's telling Setsuna personally, and having to accept her surprise and grief.
Kazusa's mother, isn't that...
Yeah, Tomo Yoko.
A pianist nearing the end of her career, and my former teacher. A non-intervening failure of a mother figure.
Then again, the way she's going about it is sly. She's made her confession and brought up living with my family, fully aware that Setsuna couldn't possibly oppose such a reason.
She abandoned me for 3 years, but with a few sweet words, she regained my trust. Looks like I have a bit of a mother complex after all, huh?
Yeah, Toma is really sly. After ignoring me all day, she threw me a message written on a torn piece of paper during the last class today.
Don't you dare tell Setsuna about that.
I glared at her for quite some time after reading it, but she just nonchalantly looked out the window like she used to before.
She came back near the end of last year, and we talked about a lot of things. About what happened 3 years ago, and about our current situation.
Following that, Toma went to talk for a long time. Enough to make me wonder if she really was the Toma Kazusa I'd known all this time. Until 3 years ago, without even realizing it herself, she had only been playing the piano for her mother. She didn't seem to care at all about the amateurish impressions of her own feelings or the responses of the audiences watching her perform in competition. All she aspired to was to be graded well by her mother and the teacher her mother taught. Nothing else beyond increasing their approval interested her in the slightest.
That said, I never felt unsatisfied or uneasy. I could grasp most of the music as long as I practiced, after all. I never felt that I should quit or that it was just too difficult.
She'd inevitably succumb to a trap that all geniuses are vulnerable to. As the child of a genius herself, Toma Yoko had solidified her position of fame, be it as an artist or as an entertainer. As such, her fear for her daughter's future caused her to distance herself from her daughter for quite some time, as if to say it wasn't really her cup of tea.
A cruel mother, right? A strict teacher, right? It's no wonder I lost my way. But why now? Why is she trying to take you away now, Kazusa? Because of the both of you. She watched our performance during the school festival and regained her interest in me.
That's completely true. I know it is because I met with Toma Yoko personally and heard it firsthand.
I was just playing around on the stage. I still can't understand how a proper artist thinks.
We weren't up there for anybody else but ourselves. But even then, in a completely different sense, we succeeded in somehow managing to catch Toma Yoko's interest. That's why she gave her daughter another chance, advising Toma to participate in the competition. Depending on the result of the competition and how Toma performed, she would decide whether or not to take her daughter back to Europe with her.
But, Kazusa, do you really want to do it? Do you really want to leave and study abroad?
And you could study abroad right here. No, just saying Thrupp will solve all the problems. Okay, maybe not this problem, but you know what I mean. Setsuna, even though there's no way we can stop her, even though Toma has already reached the point of no return, judging by her determination and the whole situation, Setsuna still refuses to give up without a fight.
Or maybe, don't tell me, Kazusa, are you still... Yes, I want to study abroad. I've made my decision. Huh?
But the words she wanted to say are easily countered.
I actually really like the piano.
There's no way for me to know what Setsuna tried to say.
And my mother, when I think about it, I don't really hate her that much.
But I have a feeling Toma knows, and she doesn't wait for her to say it.
That's why I believe that taking my own path is the right thing to do.
To that end, Toma looks straight at Setsuna, assessing her determination through a relieved expression.
I'll repair the relationship with my mother. This time, I'll be a good girl, just like Setsuna.
As if trying to erase the weak Toma of the past from my memories, she looks straight at us. Standing before us, Toma appears unnaturally and perfectly strong. And it makes me feel sick. It's that same sensation that gnawed at me when I covered up my lies with even more lies.
So, let's meet again someday. All three of us. Okay? Kazusa.
This is what Setsuna truly wants. And it's also what I used to want. But Toma, right now, you don't even believe your own words, do you? You're just forcing yourself to believe, aren't you?
This means we won't be able to stay together forever. But to me, Setsuna and Kitahara, you two are my most precious and irreplaceable friends.
You're trying to shut me up by calling me your friend, aren't you?
That's why, Setsuna,
you're too easy to read.
I want you and Kitahara to always stay like this.
Stop lying already, you stupid idiot.
Please, keep a place for me to return to.
You're really sly, you know? Covering for me, you're terrible.
It's almost graduation, huh?
Yeah,
It's almost time for graduation, isn't it?
Setsuna, on our way home after parting with Toma. After being silent and dejected for the longest time as we were walking hand in hand, Setsuna finally speaks. Even though she seems to be just stating the obvious, the emotions behind her words are different than usual.
Until now, I've been underestimating the upcoming graduation.
Yeah,
It'll just be an event to celebrate graduation. There'll be no real farewell in it. That's what I always thought.
around half of our classmates will be enrolling at Hojo University after all. As for the three of us, two of us would have gone to the same university, while the remainder would also be nearby. We would always remain together. That would brush any loneliness threatening Setsuna, after all. She'd believe that she'd be spending the same unchanging days, with the same familiar faces come April.
But it really is a special day after all. Just like in middle school, it's hard, bitter, and makes me want to cry. It's just like that all over again.
Setsuna's right hand grips my hand firmly. But all we can do is respect the decision she's made.
Haruki-kun.
I can't respond to Setsuna's grin. There's no need to feel lonely. I'll always be by your side. I can't bring myself to say those words. It's sad that she decided without telling us, but there's no way simply talking to us would have changed her mind. This is the most important decision in her life after all. Yeah. Instead, I tried to put on a relieved expression, just like Toma's. With confidence in my eyes, I looked straight at Setsuna. Even if we told her not to go, or that we won't forgive her, it won't make a difference now. It'll just make us feel bad. You don't want that to happen either, right, Setsuna? I wonder now. There's a trick to it. Without changing my expression or letting the muscles in my face move, I open my eyes wide and dry them. That's why I'll see her off with a smile, just like she wants us to. Just like this. Even I can appear unnaturally and perfectly strong. That's right. Well, what will you do, Setsuna? Will you just cry bitterly and make Toma cry too? Is that your plan? Then don't expect me to help you.
Putting it that way makes it sound really mean, Haruki-kun.
I want to cry. She just selfishly shouldered what was supposed to be mine to bear. My sins are far heavier than hers. Yet, I've pushed all the excuse making onto her. Sorry, but you have to decide before graduation day.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry for saying what I did now, too.
But for now, I won't cry. Because it'd just wet my eyes that have finally dried.
Well then, see ya.
Yeah. Finally, we've arrived. It feels like the walk took longer than usual. Just like usual, Setsuna looks straight at me.
Haruki-kun, do you...
What? But her voice is anything but the usual sweet one that I've been used to. Setsuna?
No, it's nothing. I don't really need to ask it.
Huh? I see. I suppose it'd be better to say that her words are so vague, it sounds like she's monologuing.
Well then, goodbye. See you tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, see you tomorrow. If it were like usual, with sweet whispers, Setsuna would give herself to me. While feeling our touch and scent, we would join our lips, entangle our tongues, feel each other's breath, exchange long kisses. If only that painful thing hadn't happened. Good night. But Setsuna's own anguish is saving me right now. She's sparing me from a conflict of emotions that will include pain, euphoria, guilt, and love. She's allowing me to keep my current feelings unnoticed by her. Just go home. There's only 2 more weeks until graduation. I wonder how we'll feel by the time we have to part ways. I wonder who will be by my side when that time comes. I wonder if there even will be someone by my side.
Haruki-kun, you knew Kazusa would be studying abroad. That's why you looked so worn out all this time.
Yo, Takia. Long time since you've been here. Oh, I was prohibited from coming here after all. He's right. I haven't been to Music Room 1 in so long. Before the 3 of us formed our group and moved to the room next door, this is where I originally practiced, back with the former Light Music Club. I haven't heard your guitar for a long time either. You haven't played since the school festival, right? Really? Although all the other members are actually more skilled than me, they just practice for a little bit and then call it a day pretty early. I was the only one who remained as I fruitlessly persisted in my struggle, until one day I got a reliable accompanist to back me up. Still though, I thought you had surpassed me for sure back then. But I guess you're back to being crappy just like that, huh? Leave me alone, dumbass. I swear, I can't believe I call this guy my best friend. It's almost graduation day, huh? That's right. Makes you feel lonely, doesn't it? More than half of us are simply moving up a grade. Nothing much will change even if we go to university. Right. Nothing much will change. If I just ignore what little will change, I'm sure I won't feel so lonely. I just ignore it. Well, I really've only gone for girls who aren't too clingy, so this'll be goodbye to about 80% of them. Really makes you feel lonely, doesn't it? That's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. Actually, you shouldn't even choose your girlfriends like that. And so, intentionally or otherwise, Takia continues to make empty conversation, keeping my mind off things. You should limit yourself when you enter university, you know? You'll only end up putting holes in your heart from all the loneliness. I know there's a good reason why he's like this, but at least I can preach at him without fear of repercussion. He's easy to talk to, and he lets me talk my heart out with him. In a sense, he's a truly precious friend. For this half year, Haruki, you've also enjoyed 3 years worth of sour-sweet events, haven't ya? Along with very strong bitterness. What are you saying? You're playing old songs again, Haruki. If I'm not mistaken, that song is about forgetting someone you parted with, right? I just like this song. That's all there is to it. I've told you before, haven't I? In your case, whatever song you're playing is an expression of your feelings. Easy to talk to, lets me talk my heart out. In a sense, a terrible friend to deal with.
Hey, Haruki.
What is it?
Forget about her.
What are you talking about?
What's so good about that terrifying girl? Nothing about her is a good match for you, you know?
Again, what are you talking about?
That girl decided to leave you herself. That should tell you just how little you mean to her, right?
I really have no idea what you're talking about. But cut it out with these misunderstandings, dude. If I were my usual self, I'd say, I can't figure out who you're talking about if you're using only pronouns. Tell me, in simple terms, exactly who you're talking about. I would go out of my way just to choose words that he can't stand. But I don't have that kind of composure right now. Takia must also be aware of this, and he's not joking around.
That's why you have to get back on your feet. Don't you dare let go of what you have right now.
Takia, this guy hardly even knows the whole story. He's only been able to get some information from rumors, observe our behavior, and make nothing but wild guesses. So, how could you have reached the core of the problem so fast?
Well, it's true that you're not fit to be with Setsuna-chan either. The only one fit for her is yours truly.
How can you say something like that so nonchalantly? Setsuna's... Who should Setsuna be with?
But that girl seems to disagree with me. Unbelievably as it may sound, she only has eyes for you. You've made hundreds of enemies around the guys in school, you know?
That much should be obvious. She should be with someone who treasures her the most. Someone she treasures equally. But who exactly is that supposed to be then?
You get that, Haruki? There's no future for you and Setsuna-chan, you know?
Takia...
Starting from spring, in the same university, on the same campus, this time you'll have thousands of guys as your foe. You better be ready. Got it? The conclusion has already been reached. No, there was never any competition in the first place. You know that, right?
Conclusion?
Haruki, you're different from me. Don't you ever become like me and disappoint me, okay? Got it?
Conclusion? What kind of conclusion? Do you know that there's not even the slightest inkling of one in my heart, Takia?
初めて触れた唇のぬくもりも忘れない I still love you.
Is that Haruki? Hey, do you know why I joined the Light Music Club? Haruki dragged you into it, right? Takia said something like that. I was standing here one day, overlooking the schoolyard, and heard White Album being played. That sounds too good to be true. It was a guitar-piano duet. Their tone matched really well, and it sounded like they were really having fun. That's why, before I realized it, I started singing, because I felt like I wanted to join them too. I see. It was the first time I wanted to join other people by my own will since enrolling in the school. Even though you're pretty popular, Setsuna, you're actually kind of bad at socializing with others, huh? Guys are one thing, but you seem to have trouble with girls too. Even so, you've always talked to me without any reservations, Io. I can say that I'm really happy about that right now. You know? You really are pursuing demanding friendships? You're basically saying you'll only ever show your smile to those who overcome this high wall, you know? Well, it if they made it that far, that means our friendship wouldn't be easily broken, right? But I guess that's just arrogant of me.
Arrogant indeed.
Thank you. That's why I'm really glad to have you as a friend, Io.
That said, Setsuna, you still haven't told me why you've been so down lately.
It's nothing interesting. It really is just a pointless little memory.
Really now?
But
Setsuna?
I did it again. Why did it turn out like this? It wasn't supposed to be like this. Not like this.
It's not your fault, Setsuna. There's no way her going to study abroad is any of your fault.
You're really scary, Io. Maybe I shouldn't say anymore.
It's all Haruki's fault? He completely ignored your feelings and acted rashly, Setsuna?
I was actually the one who made the first move.
Huh?
On the night of the school festival, after I parted with you, Io. Soon after getting to the music room.
But why? I mean, Setsuna, back then you were... No, even so, that has nothing to do with what's going on now, right?
Then why did you say it was Haruki-kun's fault, Io?
That doesn't matter. It can't possibly be your fault, Setsuna.
You're not answering my question, you know?
The fact that you and Haruki are dating and the fact that the girl's leaving to study abroad have nothing to do with each other, Setsuna.
You really think so?
There's no way she would decide her future just because of that. It's just like she said, it's all for the piano and her mother.
Kazusa has been really good at hiding it, but I already know what she's hiding.
I'm telling you, Setsuna, you're just imagining things.
Even if I am, I'm still sad about it nonetheless.
Running away after being rejected by a boy in this day and age would just be too embarrassing. You know, way too serious, don't you think? There's just no way.
It wasn't supposed to turn out like this.
There's only a week left until graduation. Since the day Toma told us about going abroad to study, she stopped coming to school again. She never picked up her phone either. The calls went straight to voicemail. I'm sure that's because she's blocked my number. After fulfilling the one promise she made with me, she disappeared from my side once again.
We will now proceed with the presentation of the graduation certificates.
There's
Class 3A, 47 students. Aoyama Hiroshi.
Here. There's no longer any time left until graduation.
Ogiso Setsuna.
Here.
With her reply, I feel an instant change in the atmosphere from the guys around me. Students seated beside me chatting amongst each other. Students pointing their phone cameras towards the stage, even though it's prohibited. Students openly directing their hostile gazes at me. And in between all that, I simply maintain my gaze upon Setsuna, and Setsuna alone, as she walks down from the stage after bowing to the principal.
Kato Nagisa.
Here.
Excuse me, sorry. You're Toma Kazusa, right? That's right, we haven't met before. I'm Kitahara Haruki. For the time being, I'm the class representative for Class E for the first half of the year.
Kitahara Haruki.
Yep. Today, upon this once-in-a-lifetime stage, several hundreds of students will climb up and walk off immediately afterwards, as if on a perfectly orderly assembly line. Yet, right there, for what it's worth, is supposedly the proof of our 3 years here, compressed into a mark of ink on a piece of fine paper.
I hereby bestow the graduation certificate to Kitahara Haruki from Class 3E with the same honors.
This may be the first and last time many of the students will actually have any sort of contact with the principal.
Kuno Shuichiro.
I skipped my graduation, both high school and university.
Here.
As I entertain such mundane thoughts, the next name is called, and the assembly line is set into motion again. Speaking of which, this is the first time you've spoken to me on your own, isn't it? Thank you.
Toma Kazusa. Narahashi Kiyomi.
Here! And then, the name of a specific female student who came out of nowhere to attend classes for a day 2 weeks ago, before going back to being absent. Even though she's still not here today at the graduation ceremony, she has indeed auspiciously graduated. If that's the case, then I'd love to listen to you playing some classical music in earnest, and not just messing around. That's fine. It's a performance from a master, after all. How should I put it? Hearing you play the piano really relaxes me, Toma. From the principal's oration to the guest speeches, the ceremony moves along without delay. And now, the semi-final event, the farewell address from the students, has ended. All the speeches were appropriate for a metropolitan graduation event, covering key points and briefly summarizing them, progressing at exemplary speed. And I too, of course, have absolutely no intention of breaking this tradition.
Next, a speech from the representative of the graduating students. Class 3E, Kitahara Haruki.
Here! I earned this spot on the main stage after 2.5 years of a dull life. The mark of an honor student that I hadn't lost, despite falling out in the final half of the year. This will be my final task, my last shining moment on the stage. If this were a movie, a TV series, or a teenage novel, I imagine I might have prepared some unfitting lines in my script, or a speech that would probably have ruined the ceremony. But I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to the principal, our guests, teachers, and as well as parents and guardians for being present for all of us here today. Unfortunately, I'm not the kind of person to do anything like that.
Thinking back to 3 years ago, the cherry blossom trees were in full bloom, and warm winds blew on that spring day when we enrolled here in Hojo High School.
Really, even at the very end of it all, that's just like you.
Yo, Haruki, Chikashi, congratulations on graduating. Yeah, likewise.
Can you really afford to be here? A bunch of girls are waiting for you over there, you know?
After having a bit of a heart-to-heart with the rest of our classmates in our classroom, we all rolled our certificates into their plastic tubes and are all finally free of our lives as students of Hojo High. Well, to tell you the truth, all of the second buttons I prepared are gone already, even from my spare uniforms. Could you guys share some of yours? Even the top ones are fine. Right up until the very end, you're still...
Our uniforms only have 2 buttons, you know.
And there's already someone who's taking advantage of the liberating atmosphere on campus. By the way, your speech was totally boring, you know? You should have thrown in some jokes and well-timed gags. And what would have come out of me attempting to do a stand-up comedy act there?
Well, the school's conservative attitude was obvious as soon as they picked Haruki as the valedictorian. Even though he's pulled some crazy stuff, his personality is still bland under it all.
Oh, come on. What are you guys making me out to be? The barely noticeable guitarist of a harem band, holding both the school's #1 and #2 in his arms.
The #1 guy everyone's wanted to have burned at the stake by the flames of jealousy for 3 consecutive months.
Everyone seems to be a lot more liberated since we graduated, particularly with their words.
Well, what happened to Setsuna-chan? Your second button is still intact.
She hasn't come out of the classroom yet. Hey, come on, cut it out with the buttons already.
While we're at it, it seems that Toma herself didn't end up coming after all.
She must be busy preparing to move abroad. I don't intend to ask why he actually had the need to put "while we're at it" or herself in this statement.
So, you're not bothered about it, Haruki?
Why would I be bothered by it?
And here I thought I would try to confess to Toma. Since we won't be meeting each other anymore, I was thinking I could get one last chance.
You what? Hold on, what are you talking about? Oh, crap. The moment I raised my voice and take a step towards Chikashi, their annoyed expressions stopped me in my tracks. These guys, even right up until the very end. How many times do I have to tell you?
What would you have done if Setsuna-chan saw that? Being lectured about women by Takia of all people. Haruki, you really are the lowest of the low, aren't you?
Oh, shut up. I'm getting more pissed off this time because I know it's true. Haruki, you're still going on about that. Regardless whether I'm still going on about it, there hasn't even been any progress since then. I didn't get to speak to Toma, and so I didn't speak to Setsuna about it either. I've just been absent-mindedly going to school, reading Setsuna in the morning, sighing while staring at the empty seat next to me, leaving school with Setsuna, and taking her home without even kissing her before we part ways. This cowardly charade has been going on for the past week.
Takia, it's fine, isn't it? Time will solve it all. By the time April comes around.
If time alone were enough to set that guy straight, I wouldn't be worrying like this. However, we've graduated today. Starting this spring, my new life will begin. The changes might be drastic at first, but after that, I have a feeling nothing much will change. A year that will simply slightly alter my course of life will begin. As time moves on and leaves my feelings behind, I have to start a new life.
Haruki, go on.
Huh? Chikashi points with his eyes towards the entrance of the building. From Chikashi's attitude and Takia's intimidating glare, I quickly realize why.
Haruki-kun!
Setsuna. Setsuna is standing there with Io, carrying a plastic tube, just like me.
Bye, Setsuna! See you later!
Noticing me, Io taps Setsuna's shoulder and joins the two guys that I was with until just now. The only ones who remain are Setsuna and me, and the silence enveloping us. The chilly wind tries its best to blow away the awkward mood, but its effort proves useless when I can't even look Setsuna directly in the eye. No. Anyone would know what the right thing to do here is to follow the natural course, as led on by circumstances. Setsuna is bound by the pain of losing a friend, and I, who have also lost a friend, should be the one to heal her. It would be the best course of action, and would only result in our bond growing deeper. Congratulations on graduating.
Yeah. You too, Haruki-kun.
It'd be the decision that won't hurt anyone. The decision that will make everyone happy. No, that doesn't sound quite right. The decision that will hurt the least amount of people, and that will make the most people happy. Setsuna, Kazusa was here, it seems. However, as I was trying to find the determination to make such a decision, Setsuna completely turned the situation on its head.
There was a letter inside my desk. It wasn't there this morning.
Toma was...
I just realized it. Kazusa came to the graduation ceremony. She was here until just now.
While we were spending our time in the gym, holding back our tears as well as our yawns through the understandably emotional yet inevitably boring ceremony.
What should we do? She's not picking up her phone. Are we really never going to see her again?
Toma was here. She was here, and I could reach her if I just ran a little.
I have something I have to tell Kazusa. Other than saying goodbye, it's something very important.
Haruki!
I can hear Takiya's voice from behind.
You idiot! Stop! Come back!
I can hear him implying all of those things as he calls after me. However, my legs are no longer capable of listening to reason. I exit the school gate, looking at the surrounding paths left and right, but there is no sign of a girl with black hair that reaches down to her waist. And because of that, my mind completely cuts itself off from my sense of reason. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and all that. I too skipped my graduation, both high school and university. I guess part of it, at least, is I don't like being seen. I am more of the fade into the background type of person. It's part of the reason I don't do face cam. Another part being the lack of camera in the first place, but I don't want to get a camera either. I kind of get what Toma's feeling about skipping. Oh, and this is not a veiled attempt to get people to offer me a camera, so please don't.